When the word Israel returned, it did not just name a people, it became a prayer. From coins to tombstones, from revolt to worship, the word began to grow with sacred meaning. This is how language became identity. After the Hasmoneans, the word Israel began to appear not everywhere, but in places that mattered. On coins, it symbolized freedom. On inscriptions, it symbolized faith. In prayers, it symbolized hope. Every appearance carried weight, as if the word itself had become a vessel of memory. Israel wasn't just a name anymore. It was a statement of belonging. During the Bar Kokhba Revolt, 132 to 135 CE, the word Israel exploded again. Coins bore inscriptions like, "For the freedom of Israel," "Shimon, Prince of Israel." These weren't casual phrases. They were manifestos, declarations of divine legitimacy. The rebels weren't just fighting Rome. They were fighting to reclaim the story written in their scriptures. Israel became the rallying cry, the sacred word of rebellion. But here is the paradox. Even as the word appeared on coins and official seals, ordinary people still called themselves Jews. In Babylonia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean, inscriptions continue to say, "Here lies a Jew," "Synagogue of the Jews," "Community of the Jews." The word Israel appeared only in biblical quotations. Peace upon Israel, redemption of Israel, blessed be Israel. Always poetic, always sacred, never mundane. It was as if the word had ascended, no longer used for daily life, but reserved for holy speech. This shift tells us something profound. The name Israel had become liturgical, a word of prayer, not paperwork. It lived in the synagogue mosaics, in the blessings carved on tombstones, in the verses whispered by worshippers. It was the language of eternity, not administration. Israel had become the sacred self, the version of identity spoken before God. Coins spoke to the crowd, scripture spoke to the soul, and somewhere between the two, the people began to merge both worlds. They were Jews in daily life, but Israel in their prayers. They were Judeans in the empire, but Israelites in the imagination. That duality, practical and sacred, is what kept their identity alive through centuries of exile. So the word Israel became sacred speech, a name whispered in revolt, carved in stone, sung in worship. But how did it survive empire after empire? How did it remain alive when the people were scattered across continents? In the next episode, the survival of the name, we trace how Israel endured through exile, diaspora, and faith, and how a world became eternal.